Hi, this is Belinda, your Maryland Realtor, and today I am going to continue on my series of real estate investor. As I told you before, not only am I a realtor and also a real estate agent, but I'm also a real estate investor. So today I am going to let you in on a little secret. When you are starting to, when you want to become a real estate investor, so the first thing that you need to do is not to purchase the properties under your name. It's not advisable to purchase the property under your name because of tax implication, and basically when you are an investor you are a business person. So the first thing that you need to do is to register your LLC or your company. So the purpose of that, as I say, is not only for liability reasons, also for taxes, but also is just to give you some protection. Because as you're operating under the business, so basically you are cloning yourself, and it's not really you who's buying the property, and it is your LLC or your company who is buying the properties. So after you register with your Secretary of State, and you also have whether is that company is a solo company, or you are working with other people, you are working with other members to also have everything established as far as your LLC and then your operating agreement. If you're a single member LLC, then you should still have an operating agreement, because that will be needed also during the closing. That will be needed also for you when especially when you open a bank account. And then if you have, it's a multi-member partnership, or you have many members within your LLC, you should have an operating agreement, because especially when you have to go to closing, and then when you have to operate as a business, you will need to have that information. So you will need to have that already done, process with that. And then you can consult also with an attorney who's very knowledgeable, because that's not my area of expertise. So I cannot really advise you on how to write your operating agreement or where to draft it and so on and so forth. So for that, you will have to have an expert to look at that, to look at your operating agreement, to see how your company will operate, and then who gets what, and then who gets what say, and then who will be the managing member, because that will be a very important step, especially as we are writing down contracts for basically the managing member person will be the person who has the power and the right to sign on all the documents, and so on and so forth. So you need to do that. And then also one thing, depending on where you are in the area that you are, it's very important to have an investor agent, an agent that works with investors, because investors tend to look at things a little bit differently, as opposed to the regular buyer who would want to buy most likely a property that is turnkey, so which means that is move-in ready, or requiring very very minimal, maybe at best, just changing the paint in the house. But investors tend to go after the not so pretty properties, so the properties that nobody really wants. And the reason being that that we as investors try to go for those properties, because we know that that's where the money is, because we will most likely purchase those property at a discount rate, because most likely nobody wants those properties. And as nobody wants those properties, so we'll buy them at a discount rate. And then whether is to rehab the property, or if you have to basically buy and hold that property, so basically put it on as a rental property, use it as a rental property, flipping a property, which means that you come and fix the property and then you sell it, or rehab, fix, flip or rehab. Or if you want to, also an investor, and then actually this is actually one of maybe the first step as you are getting warmed up into the real estate investor world, is to wholesale the property. So you buy a property, you put it on contract, and then you sell it to an end buyer, another investor who is very knowledgeable. So and then as for that, you know, when it comes to wholesaling and what have you, you will have to check also with your states, because there are some states that requires that if you are involved into wholesaling a property, so which means that you buy a property, you put it under contract, and then you assign the contract to another LLC or another person. So some states will require that you have a real estate license, and others will not. So you will have to check, make sure that what you're doing is legal, make sure that what you're doing does not put you in trouble. So check, check, check. And the reason I was saying that you need to have an investor, a real estate who's investor friendly, is because finding the right property, finding those quote unquote not so pretty property, it's an extensive work. And some real estate agent who are not familiar with working with investors tend to shy away from that because it requires a lot of work, and sometimes it may even require writing up a lot of contract where you are offering really less than the asking price. And then when I'm talking less than the asking price, so sometimes it can be even half of the price, and then it's not looked upon favorably to not only the seller but also listing agent. So some agents tend to be fearful of their reputation, so they don't really like to work with investors. But if you find yourself a knowledgeable real estate agent who is investor friendly, that will be key, because that real estate agent who is investor friendly probably also has not only the experience of working with investors, but also have probably all the team that's needed, especially if you started new, if you're starting fresh. They probably have their team already in place, or at least some contacts, you know, with contractors, builders. If you buying land and then you are trying to do something with that land and build something off of that land, so they probably have an hard money lender, and all these people who are involved into the purchase and the investment part of that project, they probably have all these people already lined up. So having the right real estate agent, if you don't, you know, if you don't have all these people lined up, your hard money lender, your contractor, or your builder, or even when it comes also for permitting issues, and somebody who is very knowledgeable about the permitting process. So you need to have that team. And then if you don't, find yourself an investor friendly agent who has those people, and then you can rely on your real estate agent. And you know, so basically you can create a symbiotic relationship, because then you'll be bringing more deals to your agent. So, and then your agent will be bringing also people to you. So in a nutshell, so that's really what it entails. So that's like almost like the 101 of real estate investing in a nutshell. So somebody like myself, I am very knowledgeable. Not only do I have an architecture background and also experience having worked in architecture firms, as well as corporate world, you know, having worked in the corporate world and having done some architecture work, and also very knowledgeable about contractors, know some contractors, a lot of contractors, and then also even when it comes to structural engineer. So you need to know, especially if you're buying a property that needs a lot of work, that needs probably, if you say, let's say the basement, it's needs some reinforcing in some part of the house, or you need to put a post, or you need to put I-beam or what have you, you will need to have a structural engineer to come and look at the property. You will need to have a host of people of a team that's going to make sure that your property is good to go and that your property passes not only city's inspection, but also when the inspector comes in, especially if you are selling the property, you will want that property to be free of any defect, or very minimal defect, so that you can sell it and then make the profits and enjoying this real estate investment life. So in a nutshell, that's what it is. Make sure that you have a real estate agent that's investor friendly, especially as you're starting off, and get your documents in order first, whether it's just to figure out your LLC, to register your LLC, and to have your operating agreement, to have your bank account under your LLC. So these are the things that you need, and there are many properties out there, and so there is just enough for everybody. And I would like for you to subscribe, like, share, comment on this video, and then let me know what you think, so I can bring some more content to you. So my name is Belinda, and I am your Maryland real estate agent and also your realtor, and I help people build wealth with real estate. So I will talk to you later. Bye.